Imagine walking into your office on a Monday morning and firing your entire IT
Oh,
department.
boy.
Yeah, and your outsourced legal counsel and like your bookkeeper too.
That's quite the Monday.
Right. But you're not doing it because your business is failing. You're doing it because a single piece of software just replaced all three of them for roughly $50 a month.
Yeah, and it just flawlessly operates in the background while you drink your coffee.
Exactly. So, welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are looking at how frontier artificial intelligence is completely, well, it's pivoting.
The massive pivot, yeah.
We're moving away from the era where AI was just this, massive playground for tech giants with infinite budgets and data centers the size of cities.
Right, the experimental hype phase.
Yeah, and instead we're examining how these models are rapidly becoming the ultimate operational equalizer for small and mid-sized businesses.
Which is such a fascinating shift to watch in real time.
It really is. And, we're looking at a stack of recent industry briefings today, specifically the weekly AI industry briefing from mid-May 2026.
Right.
And these documents detail major strategic shifts from frontier labs. We're talking Anthropic, OpenAI,
Only
Google,
players.
the huge ones. So our mission today is to extract the exact insights you need to understand how AI is bridging these operational gaps.
Yeah, how it's evolving into this unified business operating system.
Exactly. And fundamentally rewriting the rules of business competition. So treat this like you're sitting at the table with us, because this affects anyone who works in, owns, or even just interacts with the business.
Which is pretty much everyone.
Right. So let's jump in. To understand how AI is going to reshape the future, we first have to look at a massive shift in who these big AI companies are actually targeting right now.
Yeah, when you look at the product roadmaps coming out of these major frontier labs right now, specifically Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google, there's this massive strategic realignment.
Right. They're changing their focus.
Exactly. They've realized that small and mid-sized businesses represent one of the absolute largest untapped operational markets globally.
Because previously, AI focus was all on large enterprises.
Yeah, large enterprises, developers, and like consumer productivity, stuff like that.
But now there's this realization that the barrier to entry for world-class operational efficiency is just collapsing.
It's completely collapsing. And the reasoning behind that pivot, well, it really comes down to the fundamental nature of what a small business is.
What do you mean?
Historically, small businesses have simply lacked the resources to adopt highly complex automation. I mean, they can't just, hire a team of developers to build custom APIs between their marketing software and their accounting software.
Right. They don't have $1 million software integration budget.
Exactly. So the frontier labs are realizing that if they want to capture this massive market, raw intelligence is no longer the primary selling point.
Oh, wait, really? Intelligence isn't the selling point for AI?
Well, intelligence is just the baseline now. It's expected. The new standard, what they're really competing on, is extreme operational simplicity.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, reliability, affordability, and the ability to operate with zero technical oversight. The technology just has to simply work out of the box.
It reminds me of the evolution of the automobile.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like early AI was essentially a manual transmission race car.
Okay, I like this.
Like incredibly fast, incredibly powerful, but to actually get it around the track without crashing into a wall, you needed a highly trained driver. You needed a mechanic. You needed a full pit crew on standby.
Right, and if you didn't have the budget for the pit crew, you just couldn't drive the car.
Exactly. But the tools rolling out right now, they're autonomous vehicles. You don't need a pit crew anymore. You just get in, tell the system where you want to go, and it navigates the traffic for you.
That's a really good way to frame it.
But okay, let's unpack this a bit. Does this mean we are finally moving out of the experimental hype phase and into the actual, reliable execution phase for everyday business owners?
What's fascinating here is that the industry is absolutely moving toward embedded operational execution.
Yeah.
A small business owner doesn't have time to sit there and tinker with a prompt for 3 hours to generate a usable financial summary.
No, they have a business to run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They need to ask a simple question in plain English
Yeah.
and get an actionable, accurate result immediately. So low-friction onboarding is becoming the primary battleground for these AI companies.
Right, because if a plumbing business or a boutique creative agency can't integrate the AI into their workflow within 10 minutes.
The lab loses the customer. It's that simple.
Wow. Okay, so if operational simplicity is the key to unlocking this market, how does a small business actually implement this today?
Right, practically speaking.
Yeah, because if I'm running a local logistics company, I don't really care about the theoretical processing power of a neural network. I care about bridging my specific day-to-day operational gaps.
Totally. And the sources point out that adoption right now revolves around choosing systems that are optimized for multi-step workflow orchestration.
Multi-step workflow orchestration. Okay, let's unpack the mechanics of that.
So the massive shift we are seeing is the move from conversational AI to agentic AI.
Wait, hold on. Let's define that because agentic gets thrown around a lot these days. Are we just talking about a chatbot that can give better advice?
Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Agentic essentially means giving the AI agency.
Like permission to do things.
Yes, permission and the infrastructure to actually take actions on your behalf.
Mm.
Instead of just generating text when you ask a question, an agentic system operates in a continuous loop.
Okay.
It observes a trigger, evaluates the context, decides on a tool to use, uses that tool, observes the result, and then takes the next logical step.
Okay, so looking at OpenAI's new ChatGPT banking integration that was mentioned in the sources, they're allowing users to connect their business bank accounts directly to the platform.
Right.
Under an agentic model, this isn't just about asking the AI, like, hey, what's my balance?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
An agentic financial integration actively manages the workflow. Let's say a client's payment is 2 weeks late.
Okay.
The AI monitors the live bank feed and flags the missing revenue. But it doesn't stop at an alert. It calculates how this missing payment impacts your cash flow for the upcoming week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it cross-references that against your upcoming vendor bills, dynamically reallocates funds from a secondary account to cover a potential overdraft.
That's crazy.
And then it proactively drafts a customized follow-up email to the late client. And it presents all of this to you as a single approval request.
So you just click approve.
Exactly. The AI just executed a multi-step financial management workflow that usually requires a human bookkeeper.
That fundamentally changes how a business operates. And we see the same thing on the legal side too, right? Because the briefings note Anthropic is making a massive push into legal AI.
Oh, huge push, yes.
Now, if we assume our audience knows that legal work involves reviewing contracts and ensuring compliance, how is the AI actually executing this? How is it bridging the gap for a small business that can't afford, a corporate legal team?
Well, it comes down to architectural advancements and how much information the AI can hold in its active memory at once.
Right.
Anthropic's models can ingest massive amounts of text simultaneously. So a small business owner can upload a dense 50-page commercial lease,
Okay.
along with a separate document detailing local zoning laws, and a third document outlining their specific business insurance policy.
Wait, and it cross-references all of them?
Simultaneously, the agentic workflow doesn't just read the lease. It actively looks for contradictions across all 3 documents.
Ah, that's incredible.
Yeah, it can flag that, say, Clause 4.2 in the lease requires a specific type of liability coverage that is currently excluded in your uploaded insurance policy.
Wow.
And it will highlight the exact local zoning ordinance that might restrict your intended storefront signage. It is doing the heavy lifting of document orchestration and citation handling, basically providing enterprise-grade risk analysis in seconds.
Okay, I hear that, but I want to push back on the fundamental premise here for a second.
Sure, go for it.
Because traditional business software already exists to solve these problems. I mean, we already have accounting software that categorizes transactions automatically. We already have scheduling apps.
Sure.
So why is an AI native system fundamentally better than just taking our old reliable software and slapping a really smart chatbot on top of it? Like, if my current software works, why rewrite the entire operating system?
That's a great question. The limitation of traditional software is that it operates in absolute silos. Think of your business software like isolated islands. Your scheduling app doesn't natively understand what is happening in your accounting app.
Right.
And your accounting app has no idea what is happening in your customer relationship manager.
Right. They don't talk to each other. And if you want those apps to communicate, you are the human bridge between them.
Exactly.
Like you read an email from a client asking to push a project back a month. You mentally process that information. Then you have to open your calendar app and move the dates.
Yep.
Then you open your accounting app, find their invoice, and adjust the due date. You are physically moving the data across the silos.
Yes. And slapping a chatbot on top of your accounting app just gives you a conversational way to query a single isolated island. It doesn't fix the underlying fragmentation.
Ah, I see.
AI native systems are built entirely differently. They rely on what the industry calls long context reasoning.
Wait, long context reasoning. Do you just mean memory? Because my current scheduling app remembers all my appointments perfectly fine. It
Ah,
has a database.
no, it's not database memory. It's situational comprehension.
Situational comprehension. Okay, unpack that.
Long context reasoning means the AI understands the causal relationship between different pieces of information across entirely different domains of your business. Because an AI native system isn't a collection of separate apps. It is a unified environment.
So returning to the metaphor of the human bridge, the AI native system removes you from being the API.
Precisely. Let's trace that same scenario in an AI native system. The system reads the client's email about delaying the project.
Right?
Because of its long context reasoning, it understands the cascading implications. It autonomously checks the calendar, recognizes a conflict with another project, drafts an updated compliance document reflecting the new timeline,
Oh, man.
adjusts the financial projections for the quarter based on the delayed payment, and prepares a modified invoice.
All at once.
All at once. It coordinates this multi-step analytical task autonomously in one fluid motion because there are no silos. The reasoning spans the entire workflow.
So what does this all mean? That ability to reason across tasks is exactly why the sources indicate AI is outgrowing the concept of being a mere tool.
Yeah, it's becoming the environment itself.
Right. We're seeing these platforms rapidly evolve into unified business operating systems. It combines communication, workflow management, retrieval, scheduling, and finance into just a single interface.
Yes.
If traditional software gave a business disconnected limbs that you had to manually puppeteer, this unified AI operating system provides a central nervous system.
I love that.
There's a central brain coordinating all those movements simultaneously.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the shift from individual applications to a central nervous system fundamentally changes the nature of small business operations.
How so?
Well, businesses that were previously locked out of advanced operational tooling are now gaining enterprise-grade capabilities through these unified platforms.
And the sources draw a really fascinating parallel to what is happening in consumer tech to explain how this unified interface actually looks to the user.
Yeah, the Android stuff.
Exactly. They highlight Google pushing agentic AI and these vibe-coded widgets deeply into the Android operating system.
The concept of a dynamic adaptive interface is so crucial to understanding the future of business software.
Yeah, let's break down how that works in consumer tech first. Right now, your phone is a static grid of apps.
Right.
If you want information, you have to click into a weather app, then back out, then into a calendar app, then into a maps app.
It's very manual.
Right. But Google's adaptive interface generates a temporary UI based on your real-time intent.
Yes.
So if you have a flight in 2 hours, the operating system understands your context. It orchestrates a unique interface just for that moment, showing your boarding pass, the live traffic to the airport, and the weather at your destination.
All dynamically generated on one screen.
Exactly. And the moment your flight takes off, that interface disappears because it's no longer relevant.
It creates fluid experiences rather than forcing users to manually click through rigid, app-centric interfaces. Now, take that exact same contextual generation and apply it to a business operating system.
Okay.
An AI-native business OS doesn't make you open a dashboard of 20 static apps. The AI orchestrates the entire company's interface dynamically based on what is happening in the real world at that exact second.
Oh, I see. So if a major supplier emails you to say a vital shipment of materials is delayed by a week, the central nervous system reacts.
Instantly.
The interface dynamically morphs. It stops showing you your standard daily marketing metrics and instantly generates a crisis management console.
Right.
It shows you the 6 specific customer orders that will be impacted by the delay. It displays pre-drafted apology emails to those customers with adjusted timelines, and it recalculates your monthly cash flow impact instantly on the same screen.
Yes. It is proactive orchestration instead of reactive data entry. The system brings the work to you, fully contextualized, rather than making you hunt for the data across multiple platforms.
Okay, but if this operating system is fundamentally doing the work of 5 separate departments autonomously, the immediate question is, how fast is this going to hit the market before businesses get left behind?
That is the big question.
Like, what happens to the competitive landscape when every local shop has a central nervous system?
Well, the data in the industry briefings provides a very specific prediction on this. Over the next 12 to 24 months, small businesses will emerge as one of the fastest-growing AI adoption segments globally.
Wait, a 12 to 24-month window?
Yeah.
That is an incredibly aggressive timeline for a fundamental shift in how global commerce operates. We're talking about the complete rewiring of small business infrastructure in under 2 years.
It is fast, but the speed is dictated by the massive market opportunity. The frontier labs are currently waging an all-out war to become that foundational operational layer.
Right.
Whether it's Anthropic, Google, or OpenAI, whoever wins the race to provide the most frictionless, unified operating system effectively becomes the infrastructure of the entire small business economy.
And this dynamic is going to dramatically change business competition as we know it.
Absolutely.
On one hand, you look at this and see an incredibly democratizing force.
Oh, for sure.
It narrows the operational gaps between a small mom-and-pop shop and a massive corporate competitor. A 5-person company can execute administrative workflows, conduct massive legal document analysis, and coordinate complex financial modeling with the exact same efficiency as a 500-person corporate giant.
The gap in operational capacity practically vanishes. But, the consequence of that democratization is that competition will become fiercely intense.
Because everyone is suddenly operating at peak efficiency.
Exactly. AI is violently lowering the barriers to entry around execution speed, marketing creation, and customer engagement across all industries.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
If AI successfully removes the barrier of administrative overhead, it means having a highly efficient operation will no longer be a competitive advantage.
Right.
It will just be the bare minimum required to survive. Returning to the race car metaphor, if every single driver on the track now has a self-driving, flawless vehicle that never breaks down, then nobody gets an award just for finishing the race.
Peak operational efficiency becomes table stakes.
Exactly.
When the playing field is perfectly leveled operationally, the AI itself ceases to be the differentiator. Success in this new landscape will depend entirely on how businesses apply human strategy on top of that AI baseline.
Because if your AI can write a perfectly optimized email and your competitor's AI can write a perfectly optimized email, the customer stops caring about the email. They expect it to be perfect. The value of the email drops to zero.
Exactly. Differentiation shifts away from administration and entirely toward ecosystem integration, highly specialized domain expertise, and, most importantly, human relationship building and long-term user trust.
Right.
If the AI is handling the mechanics of running the business, the scheduling, the invoicing, the compliance, the business owner's primary job shifts back to human connection and strategic vision.
That is a profound shift in what it means to be an entrepreneur. You're no longer the chief data entry officer for your own company, manually moving data across silos.
No, you're free from that.
You're actually the visionary again. You're managing the outcomes, not the inputs. And you're doing it with an operating system that learns the unique context of your specific business over time, anticipating your needs before you even realize you have them.
The technology is rapidly fading into the background. It is becoming invisible infrastructure. And historically, technology always becomes most powerful when it becomes invisible.
Wow. Well, to synthesize the journey we've been on today, we have looked at how AI is rapidly transitioning from a high technology into an embedded, low-friction operating system.
A huge transition.
Yeah. The major frontier labs are pivoting hard to serve the small business market, realizing that out-of-the-box operational simplicity is the only way to unlock it.
Right.
We're moving away from fragmented, siloed software where you act as the human bridge and moving toward AI-native systems with long context reasoning that can autonomously coordinate complex workflows like dynamic banking integrations and deep legal compliance.
And all of this is predicted to completely reshape the competitive landscape within the next 12 to 24 months, turning peak efficiency into the new normal.
It is the central nervous system taking over the autonomic function so the business can focus on actually living and growing.
Exactly.
Which leaves you with a final provocative thought to mull over as you go about your day. If an AI-native operating system is flawlessly handling all your business's communication, your finances, your scheduling, and all that day-to-day administrative execution in the background.
What's left right?
Exactly. What is the uniquely human, irreplaceable value that your business is actually selling to its customers? Because very soon, that human element will be the only thing setting you apart.
It's going to be a wild couple of years.
It really is. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We always appreciate you taking the time to explore these massive shifts with us. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and we will see you next time.